Hey guys, it's me again. Well, it's June 1st, 2012. I have so much to say in so little time. Okay, basically what I wanted to talk about today was several things. One, about ego. Um, for most of us or people that are on a similar wavelength, you've been facing kind of facets of yourself, some very disturbing, some actually very interesting. What I mean by that is meeting people that, or finding yourself in situations where someone shows you a side of themselves that kind of goes like ding, ding, ding. This is kind of familiar, or it may have been something that a friend had told you about yourself, and you're like, wait a second, that's not me, you know? How do I act like that or whatever? Anyways, so you meet these people kind of showcase this like facet of yourself to you, and it's kind of weird because you're just kind of taken aback and you're like, okay, here we go. This is something that I need to overcome in terms of ego. Ego's it's there's multi layers, I'll say. The one thing that I'm stuck on right now, but whatever, I'll get over it, is when I think about the idea of ego, and then if you think that you're over ego, then does it not make you prideful or full of pride or somehow um, conquering? And then you think of that idea of conquering, and then isn't that part of ego? But that's kind of a sidetrack. I won't go into that. So basically, as the times are changing, I'm leaving off to Spain. I'm gonna go check out Europe for a while again. Some new developments have been coming up in Italy. Sorry, I get all excited. Um, Back to the whole ego thing. I would say I've been going through for the last 6 to 8 months. I haven't conquered it fully. I still have some fears, but I would say that a lot of them I've worked through. Uh, there's probably a couple more that need to come through. Something I really just wanted to talk about was if, and maybe this is more asking out, um, does anybody else feel kind of stagnant or kind of, like, okay, in my interpretation of what's happening, right? I've said this in other videos before. I was always under the impression that this whole wave of expansion, knowledge, and um, enlightenment or ascension was going to partake in the next 3 years. Yeah, next 3 years. So for me, right, I think what's something that I'm struggling with right now is that, let's say, for example, I'm part of the 144,000. Maybe there's a bigger wave now because of those that are inspired. Um, let's say I am. I do reach that point. I do work through the things that I need to work through. Let's just say, okay. I haven't established if I am yet. I'm not asking that question because I don't want to know the answer. Anyways, well, in terms of like things that I want to achieve, I find that I'm kind of stagnant because I'm like, well, if there's only 3 more years and then, you go on, what's the point of really investing some substantial time and effort into, let's just say, like any project? You know what I mean? I'm not talking about spiritual projects. I'm saying like any alternative project. Like let's say you want to go back to school or whatever. Like really, is there a point, or should I just like forget everything that has to do with this world and kind of just focus on what's to come? And like, let's say for example, I miss the boat and I end up not going. Let's just say I don't go. Then how does someone, knowing that this is going on, like let's just say for example, you know what's going on. Let's say you don't partake and you don't go, and you're just like, hey, I'll miss the boat this time, and I'll die and do whatever all over again. How do you go on after that? It's kind of hard. Like, how could you sit there and be like, oh, I'm not one of them, and then continue with this life and be like, okay, I'll just sit back and wait for death. No, I don't mean it in that way. I'm just saying, like, it's kind of like going into, gym class and being the last kid picked. I wouldn't know because I was always the first one because I was always like the coach or something. But um, I mean, it must be devastating, And like, I'm just saying because this is all tied into the ego thing. Because that's kind of like a fear that's been playing off in my mind. It's like I'm doing all the work for myself, regardless of the fact of what is to come. Obviously, if I do ask certain questions, they are played out to me more like, what do I think the outcome would be? And then again, that plays back into ego because if I feel that I am gonna make it, or I am one of them, then that's egotistical to think of. So then I don't want to think about it. Um, I'm kind of rambling on, but I just wanted to know if anybody else felt the same type of stagnation because I'm finding myself not feeling motivated to do bigger projects because I'm like, should I invest in buying a house? Should I try to find a mate? Should I bother trying to do any of this, or should I just like focus on what needs to get done on my side and just like, everything else? That's kind of where I'm at. But on another note, a lovely note, I'm going to be going to Europe. That should be interesting. um, I met a lot of great people, and I hope to meet more people in Europe. I don't really want to talk about what I'm potentially going to be doing as of yet, anyways. But yeah, the ego thing, I'm still battling with it. It's still there. My fears are still there. I must say though, the dreams are getting more intense. I'm remembering a lot more. If any of you have had similar dreams, it's interesting. Um, the dreams just seem way more. It's like as if everything right now is kind of intermingling. Like I find myself like, for example, I paint, right? And I find myself like doing a regular mediocre painting job, whatever, and then I'll find myself like staring in the mirror because I'm doing a washroom, and then as soon as I do that, I get like a download, and then it's like my dream is playing into reality. I don't know if anybody else is getting that either, but it's kind of interesting because it's like the intermeshing of the realities is kind of screwing with me because sometimes I feel like am I skipping a beat somewhere or like am I in this reality or I don't know how to explain it. It's like an intermeshing and it's not even something of practicality. It's just something that like let's say like a scent I smell from this room kind of makes me think of the dream and then the dream somehow intermingles with this room. I don't know if anybody's felt that way, but I'm learning a lot in my dreams. I'm finding that I'm getting tested a lot on not tested, like I wouldn't say tested. It's like I'm always getting to like these pitch like what's that called? Like the fork in the road type of situation. Or I'm getting to a place where I'm running away from people and they're telling me not to go that way and I'm like, I'm going that way, but it's all egotistical still. So I find that my dreams are even trying to teach me about ego and I'm still very prideful. That's one of my main things. I'm full of pride. Um, I've connected with well, I mean, my husband's like, yeah, they're cool people. But yeah, I guess this video is more of like like an inquiry to those out there. If anybody does watch my videos, I don't think many people do. But yeah, about the whole ego thing, like it's really starting to take a toll. I found out a lot of things about myself and things that I didn't even perceive. Um, I feel like I'm in a rush trying to talk about this video, and the song's not even over yet. But yeah, the dreams have been pretty intense. Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm kind of confused about the stagnation thing. It's like, let's say, for example, I want to get a food truck. That's just an example. And I want to save up money to get this food truck. Because I'm going to go to Europe for about a year. Then I'm thinking that'll be 2013. And there's like 2 more years after that. Well, that's what I've always been told, or I've always felt. I would say from like 2011 ish. Like, I think the time starts on this 21st, and then the ticking. Because this is the thing, too, that I've never understood. Even if it does go by 26,500, I've always wondered, is it on a sexagismal system? Because, back in the day, people didn't use the same time frames. And this even has to do with, like, the whole thing about Jesus and the Bible and everything else. I'm not religious or anything. It's just that if you go by a lunar or solar calendar, so many things can change. They alter, and I've always thought that 3 years or 2 to 3 years is kind of like, the reason why I always said 26,500. I mean, like, I used to read books about the Anunnaki like crazy. And then realistically, if you do the math, I always thought, 3 years or so, give or take. It could have been 2009, and then it could have been 2015. Like, I was never sure, but obviously I went through 2009. So I'm kind of pegging on the 2015. I said that on my first video when I was first coming out of the closet, the proverbial closet. But yeah, I guess I could just keep wondering that. I guess I just don't want to know the answer personally, but I guess I don't know. I don't know why I'm making this video and asking people questions and hoping somebody, well, I know exactly why. I think it's a main concern. Like, if you want to pursue something in the next, kind of projected years, like, I mean, okay, here's another thing. I'm content with leaving. I've wanted to leave since I was 4. Where I'm leaving to, I don't think, I mean, like, death or whatever way you want to put it, it doesn't really bother me. Yeah, it's scary. I mean, everything in life can be scary depending on if you go for it full throttle. But yeah, I just wanted to pose that question. Yeah. The ego thing has been really trying. And if anybody knows the answer about the conundrum at the end about tackling ego, because I think that's the one thing that it's holding me on. And I use ego as a person. Like, it's not really a person. It's just like, let's say we were to name it a person. If it was like a joker with a bag of tricks, this is the last trick they're sticking me on. And it's like, oh, if you get over ego, then isn't that overcompensating? And then isn't that making you feel like you've conquered something? And if you've conquered something, then isn't that prideful? See, yeah. But I'll get over that. I'll get over that. But yeah, if anybody has a method on how to do that, that would be great. I do have I have conversations with myself in regards to ego, because it's kind of like, I feel like I'm doing like the Socratic method in my head all the time. Well, if this is this and that is that, and A is B and B is C, kind of deductive thinking. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. I'm sure all of you, I've been shocked the crap out of with the things I've seen. But no, I don't mean that in a scary way. I'm saying when you see things about yourself, they're really hard to take in. I mean, I cried it out for months. I beat myself up about it for months. And then I was actually kind of, at a point where I was like, ah, good, I know. It has no hold over me anymore, So I just wanted to share that. Yeah, that was basically it. This was kind of like a farewell from Canada type of video. I guess the next time I'll be in España, or maybe Portugal, or maybe Italia, no lo so. So, um, yeah, wherever I put my hat is my home. But I'm so proud of everybody that I met. Like, realistically, I just want to say that everybody I met, I find that everybody's starting to come together, and everybody's opening up, and everybody is starting to be open minded. And I'm especially ecstatic about the scandal going on at the Vatican. That's all I'm gonna say. It's about freaking time. But yeah, I think everybody's very open minded. I mean, I have a long way. Actually, I don't have that long to go. I just gotta start focusing more. Like, I just gotta start. I mean, I meditate. I do what I have to do. I don't do it to the extreme I should. I try to make as much time. I mean, between having two jobs and no friends and whatever, I do what I can. But at the same time, and I know that I could invest more. I think the only other thing I still have to work on is just like totally getting rid of all my vices, like completely. I mean, like I smoke for one thing and I drink, but I don't drink that much as I used to because I find that it's really taking a toll on my body these days. Not because I'm getting old, just because, yeah, well, you know what I mean. But yeah, that was basically it. I just I love everybody. Oh, this was another thing I was gonna bring up. I just came to my head because of what time it was. It's 3:30 in the morning. Yeah, I've been finding like this Jekyll and Hyde thing going on. I don't know if anybody else is getting this. Cause like, look, okay, I'm very patient. I know that with people. Their pestilence, their ignorance. I'm using bad words, but I really mean like there are some people that can really get under your skin, like really get under your skin, right? And I'm not saying that they shouldn't be allowed the time that it takes to get to where they need to go. I just find that now in the last 3 months or so, I've been really like in my mind. I would never say, but in your mind, it's like really what it's about, right? Because we're all being, I would say, like it's not so much our actions really. Like just because you don't kill somebody doesn't mean you didn't think of killing them, right? So I'm saying, whoa. I'm saying like I find that I'm just getting to this like violent place in my head and this like I don't know, like let's say there was a good Ashley and then there was a bad Ashley. I find like they're battling it out all the time. Like before I wasn't so quick to snap, quick to all this, and I find in the last 3 months it's like all I'm thinking about people is like negativities and I just keep having to check myself like, hey, stop doing that. Hey, start thinking positive. Hey, stop. Like I find myself like gnawing at people in my mind, and it's just not how I usually am. Usually I'm just like, meh, whatever, like, oh, good on them. Or I've always thought like, differently. And I find like the last 3 months I've been like really snappy. And no, for all of you out there, it's not any type of hormonal problems. I don't do drugs. I don't do, it's just that I find that my mind is always trying to, circumvent or correct itself. And I don't know where these like angst feelings are coming from. And I feel horrible for feeling them, but at the same time, it's just like I feel like it's like pus that I just need to get out of my system or something. Like there's a part of me that thinks that whoever I am, in a sense, may have been an old person or somebody. I don't know how to phrase it. Like somebody who's old but still didn't learn how to take it. Like I meet people that are like, oh, I love you and I want to share, all this joy and all this love, and it's not that I don't feel that in my heart. I do. Like I genuinely do. Like if people know me, they know I'll give you the shirt off my back. They know I'll work hard. They know that I'll be there for them. but I don't have this like exuberating joy for everybody, especially in the last 3 months. It's like I find myself becoming crankier about people. Like this old man on a rocking chair is coming out of me like, ew, stop doing that, or like I don't know. But yeah, that's a very bad example, but it's the best example I could come up with. Yeah, I feel like an old cranky man's coming out of me in a sense. But yeah, it's a side of me that I've never seen before, and I would like to examine that as well. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to know if anybody was getting irritable or if anybody was having a hard time dealing with their negative positive balance. Okay, that was about it. I think I've talked enough. All right, everybody have a good night or a good morning. It's morning. I hear birds chirping outside. I'm going to go to bed. All right. Love you all.